Hey everyone, Walsh here from Thin Line Defense, and today I'm bringing you the Wilson Combat P320 grip module. Now, if you remember correctly, we tried to review this grip module a couple times in the past, but we had issues with our Holosun 507C version 2, and if you look at the video here, you can actually see that warranty experience where we sent it in and they replaced it for us and they got us all set up. So we took the time and then re-zeroed that 507C X2 for this video, so it's all set and then we can do all of our testing. So before we get into that grip module, I want to say thanks to all of those Patreon supporters. You're the ones that make these reviews possible, as I always say, but we're looking to do some cooler stuff for you. So what we want to do is do some giveaway of some of our reviewed gear. So if you're not a Patreon supporter, please consider joining us, because the couple Patreon supporters may get a whole bunch of free stuff. I also want to say thanks to everybody that likes, comments, and subscribes. You make this fun for me. I love to see your comments, from when you get angry to when you're asking more about training or different tips. I love commenting and interacting with you, so please keep that up. So part of the reason we looked at this Wilson Combat grip module is because it's so interesting in its design. I love the ergonomics of it and the way it looks. It's probably got one of the coolest looks you've ever seen. What's interesting though is the way that I carry. So normally when I have my P320, I carry in two different configurations. Either in my everyday carry configuration, which is when I use the P320 X Compact grip in the X-Series. And this is a much smaller grip module. As you can see here, it works very well for concealment and very well for carrying, and it's just awesome. Then when I do a war gun setup, I like to use the X-Series carry grip module. So this has the grip weights, this has the magwell, and you can do all sorts of cool things with it. So as I've shown you in my P320 build video, I can then use these two grip modules to go from pretty much any situation. I can go from everyday carry to a full-on war gun setup by just changing a few pieces. So the Wilson Combat grip module, while I love it, doesn't really fit in anywhere. And I kind of want to show you where I couldn't really find a place for it to fit, and I end up giving this one over to Cody because I just couldn't use it. That's not to say this isn't a great grip. It's amazingly innovative. I love the way it feels, but I'm going to show you why some setups may be just a little bit better or more versatile, but there are some situations where this could possibly be the only grip module you could need. But let's do a closer look at that Wilson Combat P320 grip module right now. So here we have the closer look at that Wilson Combat grip. You can see the cool stylized texture here on the side and on the back strap. We also installed the grip weights, so you can see the 3 grip weights here on the middle and side. They're a bit of a pain to install. Just make sure you push them all the way down into the grip weight. That's the biggest thing we did wrong, otherwise it'll shake around and make a whole ton of noise whenever you're trying to shoot it. It does fit great in the hand. I love the way it feels. The ergonomics is just perfect for your hand. It's really pretty awesome. I have to say, I love the way it looks and love the way it feels. Well, let's just go see how it shoots though. Oh, a couple things real quick. Just know that the tolerance in this thing are super tight. So know you got to push it in here, and then you got to push it back pretty hard, as it's barely going to fit in the back here. So you're going to want to put your thumb in the fire control group and just push back pretty hard. Yours will be much more difficult than that. This has been worn in quite a few times, so just be aware of it. Also, we have the magwell here that's built into the actual grip. Now, it is a bit flared out to make it a little bit easier to install a magazine, but it isn't as magical as the X carry grip. It still gets bound up if you come from some really weird angles. You have to push pretty hard to make it work. So it's not quite as magical, but it's still there and it still helps you out a little bit. So I do want to say, if you're an owner of the original trash P320 grip module, the blobby one, the Wilson Combat grip module is an absolute ton better. I don't think I've ever shot a gun worse than when I shoot with that original grip module. So if you still have that, I highly recommend getting rid of it, getting the Wilson Combat grip module. You will be much happier. Let me kind of show you how those two compare right here. So here we have the original crappy P320 grip module. I really dislike this thing. You can see them side by side, just how bulky it is. It's so difficult to conceal. Look at this magwell. There's nothing here to help with anything. It's just there to just jam up any magazine that you even attempt to put in here. I really dislike this, so if you have this, go ahead and upgrade. Now, if you don't have that grip module though, this is where things get a little more confusing, because the changes on the Wilson Combat grip module kind of fit in their own weird niche. I'm going to show you how the Wilson Combat grip module is a bit too big to conceal, and it's also a bit too small to be a war gun. But first, let me show you how it kind of compares to the X Compact grip, if you may want to think about concealing it. So here we're looking at the Sig X Compact grip. Now I usually use this for everyday carry, so it's easy to conceal and hide, so I really have no issues with it. It also has a bit of a flared magwell, so it helps with magazine insertion. So it uses the standard 15 round magazines, and the little bit of the magwell helps a little bit. It's not too extreme to show too much for printing, but it really does fit well in the hand. I can't complain about it. It's one of my favorite carry grips. Comparing the two, you can see it's a little bit thicker than the Wilson Combat grip. They have a lot of the same dimensions in terms of size. You can see that when we overlay them on top of each other. There's very few differences from the actual slide. The lengths are mostly the same. There are some changes in the backstrap, as you can see here. The Wilson Combat backstrap is mostly straight, where the Sig X Compact has that rounded backstrap. I really do like that flat angle though. It really makes for a good grip. One of the big differences though in size is the extra space here from the magwell. Most of it's very similar, but a big difference is this small little bit that they add just to add to that magwell. We'll see if that affects our ability to conceal it or not. I'm interested to see what's going to happen. It's also just a little bit longer on the Wilson Combat because it's designed to fit the carry instead of the compact, so be aware you can't fit it on the compact. Alright, so that begs the question then. Can you conceal it? Well, there's only one way to find out. Let's check it out. So for this test, we're going to be using our mantisX appendix holster. Shout out to them. These holsters are amazing. So here we're trying out the Wilson Combat grip. As you see after I install it, now it looks like I'm trying to smuggle a bag of wrenches. It's very obvious there's something poking out here. It's not easy to conceal, and it just looks like I'm carrying a gun on the middle of my belt. So yeah, here we are with the X Compact grip for a comparable view of the small difference here. Now it just looks like I'm smuggling a few crescent wrenches. It's not nearly as noticeable. You can't tell as much. You don't have that end of the grip just sticking out the side of your shirt. Now what's interesting is that very small bit of extra material on the bottom of the Wilson Combat grip compared to the X Compact grip makes a big difference when it comes to concealment and makes that grip module much harder to conceal and to keep from printing. So let's compare this grip module to the X series in the carry size. This is the same size as the compact or carry slide, and that's what I usually use. These are the most similar in terms of dimensions and size. So let's take a look at those, and I can show you how those compare, and once again why it doesn't really fit into the niche. It doesn't really fit into the battle gun niche as well as the X series carry gun does. So this is my normal grip that I use on my war belt, and this thing is awesome. And the biggest part about it is this magwell here. It's just absolutely huge. This just turns anyone into an absolute hero when it comes to reloads. You can come from pretty much any crazy angle you can think of with a reload, and you're going to have zero problems. No hiccups, no nothing. You can insert the magazine from anywhere you want, and it goes right in. It makes this the craziest reload grip I've ever seen. I highly recommend it to everyone. This also has a grip weight also, but the grip weight is much larger, and you can see it travels down the entire channel of the grip. It's much easier to install and push down. It's a little harder to remove, but that's about it. It also has the magwell here, which is pretty awesome. This also helps with inserting the magazine. Now let's compare the two. You can see that the actual Sig X carry is a lot larger. The larger X carry grip gives you more of a surface area to grab onto and keep the gun stabilized. Much of the dimensions like we've shown in the X Compact grip are still the same, so they actually have pretty much the same height minus the magwell. They're pretty much identical in terms of that. So as we've stated, both of these modules are actually using their grip weights. And I'll tell you, the X series one is pretty heavy with the magwell, the grip weight and everything. It's got some serious heft to it. The Wilson Combat model isn't quite as heavy. It doesn't have that, that massive weight to it you can feel when you're shooting. But let's go ahead and see on the scale what they actually weigh in terms of actual numbers. Here we are. Let's look at the X carry grip first here with 7.305 ounces. All right, so let's take a look at the Wilson Combat now. I'm interested to see what this one's going to weigh in at. And we have 4.8. Let's double check that to make sure the weights are that much different. Here we go. 4.8 ounces again. All right, and the Wilson Combat one more time. Let's make sure we're good. 7.35. Wow, big difference in weight here. So as fun as it is to just sit around and talk about grip modules all day, let's actually go out and shoot them. So here we are with an X-Carry grip, and we're going to do a 3-shot accuracy test. We're about 10 or 12 yards from the target. All right, here we go. All right, so I'm certainly not upset with that, but I've trained with this grip a lot. So let's see what the Wilson Combat can do in terms of accuracy. Same test, 3 shots. We'll do 2 drills this time, same distance, like 10 to 12 yards, somewhere in there. So in terms of accuracy, they really seem pretty similar. They're both pretty spot on. So let's shoot some groups. So let's start with the X-Carry, and let's do 2 5-shot groups from the same distance. All right, let's see how it goes. So that was pretty ugly. Looks like I can work on my grip a little bit more. All right, let's do the Wilson Combat, 2 groups, 5 shots. So I don't know if it was just the 4th group of the day or I was just warming up, but that Wilson Combat seems like it just grouped better and was just easier to shoot. Let's see, let's keep going with the tests. All right, next we're gonna do reloads. So start with the Sig. We'll shoot 1, reload, shoot 1. All right, let's do it. So I'm definitely not going to complain about those. But I will tell you that magwell and that grip module are like a pure cheat code. I'm really not that fast and not that accurate at reloads, as you're going to see. But that grip module just makes anybody insanely fast. It's unbelievable, and it's why I recommend that setup so much. So let's see what we can do with the Wilson Combat. Shoot 1, reload 1. I'm not used to that. It's not as easy. Goodness! So I went from being really good at doing reloads to like being a baby deer trying to use that Wilson Combat. Now, it goes to show you that training does go a long way. I've trained for a long time with the P320 X-Carry grip module. So remember that when you're going to be switching between different firearms or switching your everyday carry, you need to be training with it if you're going to be as proficient as you think you are, because you're probably not. And so this is where the Wilson Combat grip module gets into a weird niche, where it's too big to be a carry gun, and it's just not as effective as an actual war gun. And this is why I kind of had to remove it from my lineup. I couldn't find a good spot that it fit. Now, as I said, if you have that original Sig bubble grip module, the horrible one that I think is on the M17 and M18, please replace it with the Wilson Combat one. You'll be nothing but happier. But otherwise, I really do recommend that you get the X compact grip for when you want an everyday carry, and then getting the X carry grip with the magwell and the weights, because then you have a full-on war gun setup and you can reload like a superhero. So I hope this video was helpful in learning some things about the Wilson Combat P320 grip module. It's amazingly accurate. You can shoot super fast with it. I just don't find this really good for concealment, and it's not as good as a war gun for actual reloads. So you may want to make your decision on what you want to do. So as always, Thanks to all of our Patreon supporters. Keep an eye out for those giveaways. We're going to have a lot of cool stuff coming in the future. We got all kinds of people we've been partnering with. And as always, like, comment, and subscribe. I want to hear what you have to say. I want to hear your love for the Wilson Combat grip module and hear about all the other grip modules that you think are the best. All right, everyone. Wash out.